Good morning, all. Today we are going to solve remaining numericals from the unit number 5, that is availability. We started with one numerical. We finished that numerical in the last session itself. And today we are going to begin with the remaining numericals. Hopefully we are going to end this unit in this session. So let's be fast. Note down this statement. The exhaust gases from a gas turbine, exhaust gases from the gas turbine are used to heat the water in an adiabatic counterflow heat exchanger. Adiabatic counterflow heat exchanger, full stop. The gases are cooled from 260 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius, while water enters at 65 degrees Celsius. While water enters at 65 degrees Celsius, full stop. The flow rates of gas and water are 0.38 and 0.5 kg per second respectively. 0.38 and 0.5 kg per second respectively, full stop. The constant pressure specific heats of gas and water are 1.09 and 4.186 kilojoules per kg Kelvin respectively. Full stop. Calculate the rate of exergy loss due to heat transfer. Calculate the exergy loss. Exergy in the sense available energy. Available energy is also called as exergy. So we need to find exergy loss due to this heat transfer and take T0 is equal to 35 degrees Celsius. Take T0 is equal to 35 degrees Celsius. So we need to take atmospheric temperature 35 degrees Celsius. So let's note down the given data. So given data is, let's read this statement. There is a heat exchanger of adiabatic counterflow type. So counterflow type heat exchanger means if I consider this as a heat exchanger, one fluid going through this tube, another fluid going through this tube in this direction, then one fluid in this direction, then this is fluid 1 and this is fluid 2. The direction of their motion is opposite to each other. So that kind of flow is called as counterflow. So such kind of heat exchanger is there. And for this heat exchanger, the gases are cooled from 260 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius. So TGI is 260 degrees Celsius, TGO is 120 degrees Celsius. So hot gases are entering into the system, cold water entering from another side. In the heat exchanger, heat will be transferred from hot gases to cold water. So temperature of gases is going to decrease, whereas temperature of water is going to increase. Gases are going to lose the heat, gases and water is going to gain the heat. So inlet gases are hot and outlet gases are cooler compared to inlet. So gases are cooled from 260 to 120 degrees Celsius while water enters at 65 degrees Celsius. So TWI is 65 degrees Celsius. So water's inlet temperature is 65 and outlet temperature is unknown that we need to find. Then the flow rates are given. Mass flow rates for gas and water are given 0.38 and 0.5. So mg is equal to 0.38 kg per second and mw is 0.50 kg per second. That is also given. Then specific heats of gas and water are given. So CPG is equal to 1.09 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. CPW is CPW is supposed to be known to us, but in this numerical they have given that one also. Okay, but we need to remember specific heat of water as well as specific heat of air because those two are considered as standard fluids. So specific heat of water is 4.186 kilojoules per kg Kelvin and T0 is 35 degrees Celsius. And what we need to find the exergy loss. So exergy before the process begins and exergy at the end of the process, or in other words, energy before process minus energy after available energy after process. The difference is going to be exergy loss. So that we need to calculate. Before that, let's convert all the temperatures from degree Celsius to degree Kelvin. 260 is 533 Kelvin, 120 is 393 Kelvin, 65 is 338 Kelvin, and 35 is 308 Kelvin. Okay. Now before calculating that exergy loss, we need to find the outlet temperature of the water because we know at what temperature water is entering the system, but we don't know at what temperature it is leaving the system. And to calculate that one, there are two fluids that are going to exchange the heat. The two fluids are gas and water. So the amount of heat lost by gas is going to be equal to amount of heat gained by water. Qg is equal to Qw. And that could be written as mass of gas, specific heat of gas, T higher minus T lower for the gas is equal to mass of water, specific heat of water, T higher minus T lower of the water. Okay, let's put the values now. For gas, it is 0.38, specific heat is 1.09, T higher minus T lower 533 minus 393 is equal to mass of water is 0.50, multiplied by 4.186 into bracket. We need to find that temperature at which water is leaving the system. So TWO, and that is nothing but T higher, because water is going to gain the heat. So its temperature is going to increase at the end of the process. And T lower is known, that is 308. So let's calculate TW0. Put all the values in the calculator and let me know the final temperature of the water. Calculate this one. That is going to be in Kelvin, because we already have converted all the temperatures from degree Celsius to degree Kelvin. If anybody has solved, put it in the chat window. Abhishek, you calculated output temperature of the water? Or final?
No, sir, calculating.
Okay, okay. Pratik, you got the answer?
No, sir. $365.7.
365.7 Kelvin. Okay, that's correct. Next, now we need to find the exergy loss. Now, exergy loss in the sense, suppose there is one system that has got some energy before process to begin, and it has got some energy at the end of the process. So the difference between those two is nothing but the exergy loss. If I apply this concept to a heat engine that is accepting heat Q1, producing some work output and rejecting some heat Q2. The difference between Q1 and Q2 is nothing but the exergy loss, because Q1 is the total energy before process to begin. Q2 is the energy that is going to be rejected to the system, and difference between those two is the work produced. So if I calculate this work produced, that is nothing but the difference between available energy before the process to begin and at the end of the process. Okay, so I'm going to use this concept over here. So W is equal to Q1 minus Q2. Now Q2 is the amount of heat transferred. So we need to calculate it for gas and water individually. So for gas, this W is equal to Q1 is MCP, T higher minus T lower. That is the heat supply. And we know that Q2 can also be written as Q2, let me write over here. Q2 is the minimum amount of heat to be rejected to the atmosphere, and that is also a product of minimum temperature at which heat is being rejected to atmosphere, that is atmospheric temperature, multiplied by change in entropy during the process. The product of those two is also called as Q2. That is the total amount of heat that has to be rejected to the atmosphere. So that relation I am going to use over here. So T0 into delta S. Okay. Now let's put values of the uh, given system to get the W. Before that, this delta S we need to calculate. So let's put the relation for delta S also in the same equation. So MCP, this one we are writing for gas. So MCPG, MGCPG, T higher minus T lower minus T0, delta S is MGCPG ln of T final by T initial. Whenever you are calculating entropy change, you need to take final to the initial relation, not higher to the lower. Now put the values. Now you will be having two choices. Mg and Cpg is there in both the terms. So you can take that common and then put the values, or you can put values as it is also. So I'm going to take that one common. Mass of gas is 0.38 multiplied by specific heat is 1.09, and in the bracket T higher minus T lower, so 533 minus 393, that will be in one bracket, minus T0 atmospheric temperature is T308 and ln of 533 by 393. Solve this one and calculate the W for the gas. W, that is nothing but the available energy for gas. Put these values in the calculator and let me know the available energy for gas. The answer is going to be 19.1148 kilojoules per second. Anybody got the answer? Similarly, for water, available energy loss is equal to MW CPW. I am going to write the short relation. T higher minus T lower minus T0 into ln of T final by T initial. Now let's put the values. Mass of water is 0.50, specific heat 4.186 into bracket. For water, final temperature is higher, so 365.7 minus, what was initial? 338 minus 308, that is atmospheric temperature, into ln of 365.7 minus 365.7 by there is some electricity issue, so let me connect my mobile hotspot to the computer. Okay, 365.7 by initial temperature is 338. Okay, put the values and calculate the available energy change for water. Answer is going to be 7.199. 7.199 kilojoules per second. So net exergy loss is equal to, we need to take difference between those two, so 19.1148 minus 7.199, and that is equal to 11.91 kilojoules per second. So that is going to be our final answer. Everybody got this answer? If anybody has got any difficulty, let me know. Pratik, are you there? Abhishek. Abhishek, is everything fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Note down the second numerical. A system at 500 Kelvin. A system at 500 Kelvin receives 7,200 kilojoules per minute. A system at 500 Kelvin receives 7,200 kilojoules per minute from a source at 1000 Kelvin. From a source at 1000 Kelvin. Full stop. The temperature of atmosphere is 300 Kelvin. 300 Kelvin. Full stop. Assuming that the temperature of system and surrounding surrounding is not there. Instead of surrounding, it is source. Temperature of system and source remain constant during heat transfer. Temperature of system and surrounding remain constant during heat transfer. Full stop. Find out. First one. The entropy produced during the heat transfer. Find out the entropy produced during the heat transfer. And second one, the decrease in available energy, after the heat transfer. After the heat transfer. Okay, that's the end of this statement. Note down the given data. Okay, so there is one system. The temperature of system is 500 Kelvin. Temperature of source is 1000 Kelvin. Okay, so there is system having temperature of 500 Kelvin. It is receiving heat of 7,200 kilojoules per minute. So Q is equal to 7200 kilojoules per minute from a source having temperature 1000 degrees Celsius. So source temperature is 1000 degrees Celsius. The temperature of atmosphere T0 is equal to 300 Kelvin. That is also given, and we need to assume that during this heat transfer, so there is one source and there is our system. Source is providing heat to a system. Then got blurred again. Or surrounding temperature is 300 Kelvin, and we need to consider that during heat transfer from source to sink, temperature of source and sink is going to remain constant. Okay, so neither source is losing temperature or its temperature is not going to be reduced, and even after accepting the heat, system temperature is also not going to increase. And in that case, we need to find entropy change as well as decrease in available energy. Okay, so to find that entropy change, before that, now,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
I forgot to unmute myself. Okay, so there is one system having temperature 500 Kelvin receives 7,200 kilojoules per minute of heat from source having temperature 1000 degrees Celsius. And during this heat transfer, the temperature of system and source is going to remain constant. And for this heat transfer, we need to find entropy change and decrease in available energy. So we are going to calculate entropy change for system, entropy change for surrounding, and based on that one, we are going to calculate decrease in available energy. Now, as temperature of source and sink is going to remain constant, we cannot use that relation mCp ln of T final by T initial. This relation cannot be used over here because temperature is not increasing or decreasing. So we are not having that final and initial temperature, right? But to calculate entropy change, we have alternative relation, and that is delta S is equal to Q by T, right? This relation also we have that we can use to calculate the entropy change. So we are going to use this relation for this one. So for system and surrounding, Q by T, let's calculate for system first. The heat transfer is 7,200. The heat transfer is same, and system temperature is 500 Kelvin. Whereas for source, the heat transfer will remain same 7,200, but its temperature is 1000 Kelvin. Right? Now, the source is going to lose the heat, system is going to gain the heat. So for system, it will be positive, and for source, it is going to be negative because that is going to lose the heat. Is that fine with everyone? Right? Whenever heat is going out of the system, sign convention is negative. When heat is entering the system, sign convention is positive. So this is going to be minus 7.2 kilojoules per minute Kelvin because heat transfer is in kilojoules per minute. Similarly, entropy change for system will be 14.4 kilojoules per minute. Entropy change for system will be 14.4 and entropy change for source is 7.2. And to calculate total entropy change, that is entropy change for universe, we need to add delta S system with delta S source. So addition of those two will be 7.2 kilojoules per minute Kelvin. Okay, that is the total entropy change for system plus surrounding. And now we need to calculate change in available energy, and that change in available energy, or we need to find a decrease in available energy. So that decrease in available energy is equal to decrease in available energy is equal to T0 into delta S. Decrease in available energy in the sense available energy before process to begin and available energy at the end of the process. Difference between those two is the decrease in available energy, and that can be calculated from this product T0 into delta S. So T0 is atmospheric temperature 300 Kelvin and delta S is 7.2 kilojoules per minute. And if you take product of those two, you will get answer 2160 kilojoules. So that is going to be the total decrease in available energy. Is that fine with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move to the next numerical. Write down the statement. 1 kg of ice at 0 degrees Celsius is mixed with 12 kg of water at 27 degrees Celsius. 1 kg of ice at 0 degrees Celsius is mixed with 12 kg of water at 27 degrees Celsius. Full stop. Assuming the surrounding temperature 15 degrees Celsius, assuming the surrounding temperature 15 degrees Celsius, calculate increase in entropy and unavailable energy. Calculate the increase in entropy and unavailable energy when the system reaches a common temperature. We need to calculate increase in entropy and unavailable energy when the system reaches a common temperature. Full stop. Given that specific heat of water is equal to 4.18 kilojoules per kg Kelvin and specific heat of ice is 2.1 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. Specific heat of water is given 4.18, specific heat of ice 2.1, and latent heat of fusion is 333.5 kilojoules per kg. Latent heat of fusion is 333.5 kilojoules per kg. Now you might have a clear idea about what is meant by latent heat of fusion. Okay, we have discussed this term various times in the past. So I hope nobody has any doubt in that term. Okay, let's note down the given data. Mass of ice is 1 kg. Its initial temperature Ti1 is equal to 0 degrees Celsius. Ti2 is unknown. Let's calculate it as final temperature of the system. Similarly, mass of water is 12 kg. Mass of water is 12 kg and its initial temperature TWI is 27 degrees Celsius. TW2 is unknown. That is also final temperature when those two things are mixed together. So let's call that temperature also T final. We need to find, okay, temperature of surrounding is also given. Assuming surrounding temperature is T0 is 15 degrees Celsius. 15 is 288 Kelvin. Let's convert all the temperatures into degree Kelvin. 27 is 300 Kelvin. Is that correct? And this is 273 Kelvin. Okay. So we need to find this final temperature of the ice, final temperature of the water, and that is nothing but the same compound temperature, that is T final, because system is reaching a common temperature, and that temperature we are going to consider T final. So here the water is going to lose the heat and ice is going to gain the heat. So Qi is equal to Qw. The heat lost by water is going to be heat accepted by the ice. So those two are going to be same. So mass of ice into specific heat of ice into T higher minus T lower, that is for ice, is equal to mass of water, specific heat of water, T higher minus T lower for water. This is for ice, this is for water. Put the values. Okay, additionally, we need to consider this latent heat of fusion also. That heat is given, so that heat we need to add in ice. Why we need to add that heat into ice? Because there is 1 kg of ice that is at 0 degrees Celsius. Okay. So when it comes in contact with water that is at 27 degrees Celsius, what will happen? The ice will start gaining the heat, but its temperature will remain constant at 0 degrees Celsius unless and until this complete ice from 0 degrees Celsius has got converted into water at 0 degrees Celsius, right? Unless and until all the ice has got converted into water, its temperature is not going to increase. It will remain constant. Okay. So for conversion of that 1 kg of ice into 1 kg of water at 0 degrees Celsius, it will accept some heat. And that heat we need to consider in case of heat accepted by ice, and that is going to be latent heat of fusion. So the total heat will be mass of ice multiplied by latent heat of fusion. Mass of ice is 1 kg and latent heat of fusion is 333.5 kilojoules per kg. So 1 kg of ice will require 333.5 kilojoules of heat for melting or solidification, that is latent heat of fusion. So let's put the values now. 1 multiplied by 333.5 plus 1 into specific heat of ice is, what is specific heat of ice? 2.1. 2.1. Now T higher minus T lower. You shouldn't have any confusion in this T higher and T lower. See, this relation we are writing for ice and this is for water. Water is going to lose the temperature, or water temperature is going to be decreasing and ice temperature is going to be increasing. So final temperature is nothing but higher temperature in case of ice, whereas in case of water, lower temperature is the final temperature, because water is going to lose the heat, its temperature is going to decrease, and we need to find this T final. So in case of ice, higher temperature is final temperature. In case of water, final temperature is lower temperature. Okay, so we are going to replace this TH in case of ice by TF and TL in case of water by TF, that is final temperature. So this relation will be T final minus T lower is 273 is equal to mass of water is 12 multiplied by 4.18. Specific heat of water is given 4.18 into bracket. Its initial temperature is 27. 27 is nothing but 300. 300 minus TF, that is final temperature. So solve this one and find the final temperature in terms of Kelvin. Anybody has got any doubt? Whatever I just did over here, if you have any doubt, let me know. I will explain it again. Or if you don't have any doubt, put values in the calculator and let me know the final temperature. Anybody has got any doubt? I'll take that as no. So solve this one and let me know the final temperature. Yes, what is final temperature? Umesh, what is the answer?
Sir, 292.53 Kelvin.
292.53.
0.53.
Okay. I have got 291.8. See if anybody has got any different answer. Or else.
Yes, sir, 291.8.
Okay, so this is the final answer. Abhishek, check your answer once again. The answer has to be 291.8. Okay, so now we have got the final temperature. So let's calculate the entropy change. So delta S universe or delta S total will be equal to delta S for ice plus delta S for water. Let's calculate for those two. For ice, MCP ln of T final by T initial, final temperature of ice to the initial temperature of ice, plus some heat is going to be consumed for the conversion of ice into water, right? That we saw in the heat transfer. Same will be applicable to entropy change also, and that entropy change will be Q by T. This is for ice, plus for water, mass of water, specific heat of water, ln of T final by T initial, that is for water. Put the values, is equal to mass of ice 1, specific heat is 2.1, ln of T final by T initial 292.53 divided by 273 plus 333.5 by 273, because that conversion of ice into water is at 0 degree Celsius, and 0 degree Celsius is nothing but the 273 Kelvin. This is for ice, plus for water, mass is 12, specific heat is 4.18, ln of T final by T initial 292.50, sorry, 2, okay, we took 292 instead of that one, take 291.8, don't take 292, so 291.8 divided by what is initial temperature of water, 27, that is 300. Okay, solve this one and let me know the delta S total or delta S inverse. That is going to be kilojoules per Kelvin. Put the values and let me know the answer. The answer has to be delta S actual 0.109 kilojoules per Kelvin. See if you are getting the same answer. Anybody got the answer? Umesh, you got the answer? Abhishek?
No, sir. Try.
Okay, calculate and let me know. Okay. So delta S total has to be 0.109 kilojoules per Kelvin. That is the answer of the first part, that is increase in entropy. The second, we need to find unavailable energy or increase in unavailable energy, and that is going to be T0 into delta S. Delta S we just calculated. T0 is the atmospheric temperature, and atmospheric temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. 15 degrees Celsius, that is 288 Kelvin. So 288 multiplied by 0.109, and that is equal to 31.39 kilojoules. So that is going to be increase in unavailable energy. That is the second answer that was asked to calculate, 31.39. Okay. If you are a regular visitor of our Google Classroom, you might have noticed that last two videos are not there. I didn't uploaded last two videos on the Google Classroom. Additionally, I have removed all the previously uploaded videos from the Google Classroom. So there are all the video recordings removed from the Google Classroom. I was facing some space availability because Google provides some 15 GBs of the free space, and that space was over occupied, and I was in a need to free up some space. So I have removed all the videos from the Google Classroom, and instead of putting those videos on the Google Classroom, now videos are available on the YouTube. I have created a separate channel for thermodynamics, and I have uploaded all the videos on the YouTube. Is the screen visible to everyone? I have shared the Google Chrome window. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see all the videos are available over here. As per your need, you can visit this YouTube channel and you can go through those videos. The link of this channel is available on the Google Classroom also. If you go to Google Classroom, this is our Google Classroom page. And when you go to the stream window, you will see this post that I posted on the January 5. On 5th of January, there was one post and you will get link over there. If you click on this link, this window will open and you will be able to see all the video recordings over here. Okay, so you can go through those videos, and if you face any difficulty, you can revert back to me. So onwards, I will not post videos to the Google Classroom, but I will keep posting the quizzes and assignments. Sometimes I post assignments including numericals also. So you are supposed to solve those numericals and post your solutions as a response to those assignments. You need to photograph your notebook page and post it in your response. Or there are certain quizzes that you need to attend, and those quizzes are going to be based on those numericals and on those lectures, and lectures are available on the YouTube. So keep watching this YouTube channel as well as keep visiting this Google Classroom also. Side by side, you need to keep yourself updated by visiting both Google Classroom as well as this YouTube channel. Is that fine with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the meeting is about to end in 2 minutes. So we are going to end this session now. Actually, I was thinking of completing few more numericals today itself, but because of that network issue and all, that created a little bit disturbance, and I could not finish this one within expected time. So there are 3 or 4 more numericals to see that we'll see in the next session, and then we'll begin with the last unit, that is unit number 6. So now I'm going to end this session. Thank you everyone for being here.